Welcome to my channel. Facts about Korean movies.
Early Korean cinema and iconic films.
Korean cinema, often referred to as a Hollywood, has a rich history dating back to the early 20th century. The first Korean feature film, The Righteous Revenge, 1990, is considered the beginning of Korean cinema. Shiri, 1999, is one of the first Korean blockbuster films, known for its action-packed storyline. Old Boy 2003, directed by Park Chan-wook, is a cult classic and part of the Vengeance trilogy. My Sassy Girl 2001 is a romantic comedy that gained international popularity. Korean cinema often explores diverse genres, from horror to melodrama. Parasite 2019 made history by winning the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival and 4 Academy Awards. The Korean War has been a recruiting theme in Korean cinema. Train to Busan 2016 is a notable South Korean zombie horror film.
The Korean film industry, including both North and South Korea, has produced a wide variety of films.
Film Awards and Honors. The Korean Film Awards and Baeksang Arts Awards are some of the major film awards in South Korea. Korean actors like Song Kang-ho and Choi Min-sik have gained international recognition. JSA Joint Security Area 2000 explores themes related to the Korean demilitarized zone. The Handmaiden 2016 is an adaptation of Sarah Waters' novel Fingersmith. The Host 2006 is a monster film known for its innovative special effects. Korean cinema often addresses social and political issues. Films like Ode to My Father 2014 explore themes related to the Korean diaspora. The King and the Clown 2005 is a historical drama that gained widespread popularity. Korean cinema has a strong tradition of melodramas and romances. The Busan International Film Festival is one of the most prominent film festivals in Asia. Cultural influence and trends. Korean cinema often reflects Korean culture, traditions, and societal values. The Korean wave refers to the global popularity of Korean pop culture, including films, K-dramas, and K-pop music. Korean melodramas, known for their emotional depth, have gained international appeal. Korean horror films like The Wailing 2016 are known for their psychological and supernatural elements. Burning 2018 is a mystery drama film adapted from a Haruki Murakami short story. Korean cinema often explores the impact of the Korean War on families and society. Filmmakers like Bong Joon-ho and Kim Ki-duk have received acclaim for their unique storytelling. The Busan Film Commission has played a significant role in promoting Korean cinema. South Korea has a strong independent and art cinema scene. South Korean film actors have dedicated fan clubs and followings. Industry and technology. South Korea has a thriving film exhibition industry with a significant number of theaters. Winter Sonata, a popular Korean drama, led to the Korean wave in Japan and other countries. South Korea has seen a rise in female-centric films and strong female characters. Film actors in South Korea often cross over into television, music, and other entertainment industries. South Korean cinema often delves into family dynamics and relationships. The success of Parasite elevated the status of Korean cinema on a global scale. The Korean film industry has embraced digital filmmaking technology. Streaming services have brought Korean films to a global audience. Chungmuro, an area in Seoul, is known as the heart of the Korean film industry. The Korean film industry continues to evolve and diversify, reflecting the dynamic nature of Korean cinema and storytelling. Cultural impact and future. The influence of Korean films extends to fashion trends, beauty standards, and language. Korean cinema explores contemporary issues like urbanization and technological advancements. Korean filmmakers often emphasize the importance of family and societal values. South Korean cinema has a strong presence in international film festivals. The Silenced, 2015, is a historical horror film set in a girls' boarding school. Korea is known for its auteur filmmakers who bring unique perspectives to their work. South Korea has a significant international following of K-dramas and K-pop music. South Korean cinema has a diverse range of genres, from political thrillers to coming-of-age stories. Korean cinema continues to tell unique stories that resonate with audience worldwide. The future of Korean cinema is promising, with an expanding global influence and innovative storytelling. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.